Microlearning, the evolution and history. The term microlearning has only been around since 2002. However, its roots can be traced to early human history and to its partnership with evolving technology. Here Days in From Me Notes to Microlearning define microlearning as the line between the sharing and acquiring of civilization skills and the comparatively shorter history of the media. One can even describe human history as the history of learning. Here Days expands on this by defining microlearning as the times when there's visible evidence of culture transfer. The idea of learning by a series of small steps has impacted civilization over the years. It's possible to see how step-by-step learning made cultural evolution possible. To explain this video will trace the roots of microlearning and show how technology and microlearning have always been partners. The very first example of microlearning could be when the first humans scratched signs and symbols into bone, stone, and wood to create the first non-biological memory. These early humans survived on basic knowledge such as gathering food, escaping from the elements and enemies, and some sort of social competency. The urgent need to survive guaranteed that the process of knowledge transfer and learning had to be simple and short. Through the creation of grammar, rhetoric, dialectics, and geometry disciplines, it shows sufficient evidence that the method practiced by these teachers was that of small steps. One of these early teachers was Socrates, who did proceed step by step through the spelling out of ideas and concepts by means of a dialogic process, which called upon people to debate and discuss with each other. After Socrates, Plato helped define the structuring of knowledge and started to consider the receptivity of students, and this rendered a new quality to the transmission of knowledge. Aquinas contributed to the development of microlearning by ensuring God's teaching was brief and clear. He also created a list of arguments for a specific question and labeled each argument confrontation or refutation. In his view, in the smallest of steps, there should be a pattern of argumentation. Johann Amos Comenius, known as the Great Didactic of the 17th century, published his idea that a lifelong school be carried out in progressive steps. He believed all persons created by God should be returned to their Maker, but couldn't do this on their own merits. To do this, each person should be assisted by their appropriate school and proceed slowly, step by step, and progress from easy tasks to difficult ones. Doing this links singular pieces of knowledge to great contexts. It would take another 200 years before Rousseau would initiate a pedagogic development that would impact the 20th century. He believed children should follow his or her own curiosity, and educators would observe the child's behavior and harmonize the environment to this development. Herbert was the first to draft a theory of instruction that began with a collection of elementary experiences and observations. And as individual fields are introduced and developed, the starting point is at their smallest elements. In the 1920s and 1950s, there was an emergence of program learning by B.F. Skinner. In retrospect, this can be seen as an attempt to perfect the traditional small-step method. It offered learners information and provided them with tasks and feedback. To acquire a behavior, the student must first go through a carefully designed sequence of steps, each step being small enough to be executed. With every following step, the student must advance to complete the goal behavior. Historically, agricultural and industrial society workers engage primarily in repetitive work. With emerging technologies, this repetitive work is becoming automated, leaving individuals to do work that is more interesting but demands more learning. In the mid-1990s, there was a move to use learning objects, defined as small chunks of learning content, as a response to the complaints that macro-level content design and development was unsuitable. As the formal world around us accelerates, we're virtually submerging ourselves in rich learning opportunities. However, educational structures from past centuries are woefully ill-equipped to keep pace. This information society is the result of humankind's success in overcoming lacks of information, and as the amount of information increases, it has become a major field of research to master its use and acquisition. The beginning of the information society thus marks the end of two key features of human history: the fact that information was scarce and communication difficult. These have structured all past civilizations and shaped the behavior of peoples and their social organizations, and has decided the rise and fall of empires. Today, we're part of a social transformation where information has become abundant and communication global. The internet, as a common medium of information, absorption, and communication, has penetrated all societal and economic life in all developed countries. The flip from information scarcity into information abundance is one of the main factors making learning an integral part of everyday activities. Learning by small steps has a tradition that reaches beyond the development of civilization. It's possible to see how step-by-step learning made cultural evolution possible. From the early humans' transfer of survival skills to the first intentional application of teaching in the Middle Ages, we learned from each other. And in the 20th century, access to computers and mobile devices have superseded all previous media and allowed the method of learning through small steps to be perfected. A special thanks to all these sources which helped me create this great video for you. To learn more about designing microlearning, watch the next video, Requirements of Designing a Microlearning Experience.